Eric Borba. It's my 11th year at Orange Lutheran. The first 10 years have been good. We've just been trying to raise the bar each and every year. I think going into this year, we're pretty excited. We had some good momentum last year, had the best season in the Orange Lutheran history, and we returned a lot of guys. I think we returned 17 lettermen from last year's team and 7 starters in the field, and a lot of our pitching staff. We graduated Cole Wynn, who was a first-round draft pick of the Rangers, so that was a little bit of a big hit. And we lost our shortstop, Zach Liu, and Caleb Rickett, excuse me. But we returned a good core of last year's team, and I think we added a couple of guys that came in, and with Josiah Dixon down here, who's been a 4-year starter, and a few guys that have been with us for 3 years, just the experience of this team, we're pretty excited. We know we're in a good place. It's just a matter of really putting things together when it comes time to go out and play on the field, because in high school baseball, it's just not about the number of good players you have. It's about the guys playing together and playing for a bigger purpose than themselves. So that's really a big focus. But we're excited with the guys that we have because they've kind of been through it a little bit. And I just think that we're in a pretty good place going into this year, so we're excited about it.
Yeah, Coach, tell us 1 or 2 things about each of these young men sitting beside you and what kind of value they bring to your program and what they mean to you. I mean, these guys are all seniors and they're leaving.
Absolutely. These guys mean the world. We have 13 seniors this year. It's a pretty great class. I'll start over here to my left, Evan Adolphus. I think he's one that's just waiting to come out a little bit. He's got all of the talent on both sides of the baseball. The guy's been up to 93 miles an hour on the mound. I mean, he's got the ability to hit in the middle of our order. He had a little bit of setback last year with a little bit of an arm injury early in the year, so he didn't get a chance to show what he's done, but he's made some huge strides, maturing physically in the weight room. He's definitely a threat in the batter's box to do some damage, and on the mound, he can run it up there in the low 90s, and he's got one of the best changeups I've ever coached against. So we're looking for big things from him this year. He's going to help us out a lot, both on the mound and offensively. To my right, Caden Connor. I can't say enough good stuff about this guy. The ultimate baseball player that you want on your team. He will do whatever it takes to win a baseball game. Grinds out every single at bat. Fights guys. Had some huge hits for us last year. And defensively in the outfield, I mean, he just runs down everything. He's got an accurate arm. Made some huge plays for us. I think he's one of the best uncommitted guys, in the senior class in the state of California. He was arguably, I think you could say he was one of our MVPs last year, and helped us win 25 games because he was a mainstay for us in the outfield and in the lineup, doing some stuff, having some big hits. And then down on the right, Josiah, 4-year starter. There's so many words that describe Josiah. He's just electric. He's as electric of an athlete as I've ever seen. The guy will stand there at practice and do 3 backflips in a row, and he'll go dunk a basketball barefoot. And, he is – we talk about guys that get paid to play the game at, or in the NFL and the NBA and baseball, whatever it is, and they're freaks. And this guy's a freak talent. I mean, he's the fastest kid I've ever seen, probably one of the fastest high school kids in the country. He's got tremendous arm strength. And he's another one that last year missed half the season with an injury. So this year, I'm just expecting huge things out of him. I think our guys really feed off his energy, what he brings to the table. You can see him dancing around in the dugout out in the outfield half the time he's dancing around. And it's just, he's just an energy bus that we all build off. So we're really looking forward to him leading us this year.
Forbes, you started your coaching career at Sonoma State and obviously had some success up north at Allen and De La Salle, winning a couple CIF titles. Talk about a little bit, if you will, what is the difference in the Trinity League? I mean, you've been around, you've coached some high-level events, obviously won back-to-back NHSI titles. What's the difference? What makes the Trinity League so different?
Well, I don't know if there's one answer to that, but there's a lot of things. I think it starts with the schools and the administration. I think as a high school coach, you got to have administrators that really believe in what you're doing and understand the impact that sports have and extracurricular activities have on kids. And in the Trinity League, just all 6 of these schools really get it. I know we're a little biased as coaches and we want sports to be a bigger part sometimes than maybe they should be, but we are given the resources and the support to go out and do a lot of the things that we want to do. And I think that's the biggest difference. And then when you get to the Trinity League and you talk about the 6 coaches in this league, I'll tell you what, every year I'm trying to get better just to compete against those guys because these coaches grind. They put in the time, they put in the effort, and they're out scouting. They got reports put together, and you really just got to find a way to stay ahead of the curve, if you will. So they raise. I think it's one of those competitive environments where each coach kind of raises the other coach's level of performance. And we got to go out and continue to find ways to be better, because you're not just going to sit back and beat somebody the same way year in and year out.
Coach, you just spoke about that real quick. Last season, obviously tons of success, nationally ranked, all the accolades in the world. What is it that you have learned as far as coaching, leading this team, from last season, and what is it going to take to find the same success this year?
I think the biggest thing that we talk about with our kids is just really playing for a purpose bigger than themselves. Because you can have all the talent in the world. When you talk about a one-game elimination at the end of the year, anything can happen. So we try to really focus on controlling the things that we can control, and being really good at the things that it doesn't take to be an athlete to be good at. The attitude, the effort things, and just playing as a team. That's ultimately when the game comes down to it at the end of the, in the seventh inning or whatever. The more you're willing to put on the line for a teammate, the more likely you're to be successful. And so we really try to focus on those things and make it bigger than it is. And when guys are willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater part of something bigger, they're more likely to be successful. And so that's something that we talk about all the time.
And just one more. You briefly touched on it earlier about Cole. What was it like to have him kind of revolving door in and out, and he's gone into the wind? What was that like?
Although he was there for a short period of time, he made a huge impact on our program. And I'll tell you, he just left for Arizona last week, and he was at Orange Lutheran just about every day that he was in town, whether it was to hang out with the guys or to come sit down in my office and talk about it. I mean, he made a huge impact. I think that our kids in Southern California are raised in a certain environment, and he came from Colorado where it was, he was raised a little bit differently, and what he brought to our team just from a competitive standpoint really brought back that team culture that we're really trying to fight for, because he was the ultimate competitor. As good as that guy was, and he knew he was going to get paid a lot of money to go play the game, he cared nothing more than to win a baseball game, and would do anything that it took to do that. And I think he brought a lot of that to our team, and these guys have fed off it.
Coach, back-to-back NHSI titles, right? Looking to three-peat this year. Talk a little bit about the tourney.
Yeah, back-to-back titles, luck, a lot of luck, that's for sure. It's a great tournament. I think the national level and the media attention that it gets is just unbelievable. The experience for our kids to travel across the country and to play against guys that you don't normally see but you read a lot about is something that you can't replace. I think that right here in Southern California, you could take 16 teams and probably have as much talent or more talent, but when you get a chance to go across and play in the NHSI, against those guys, and it speaks for itself, and I think it's just an opportunity to grow our game and to talk about the level of player and teams that we have in Southern California. I mean, I think it's 8 years now, and 15 of the 16 finalists in that tournament have been from California, and then people talk about the Boris Classic, and it's like the talent in the Boris is probably far and above the NHSI, but that NHSI tournament, just from the national attention that it gets, and the attention it gets from scouts, I don't know that there's something that matches that. I think you could take any one of the teams in Southern California that's in the top 25 that Eric's going to release here pretty soon, and any one of them can go back there and compete.
You go through your pitching plans for the year. Where is it? What's the story? I'm a little confused here.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'm a big hot hand guy, and the guy that's throwing the ball the best. We have. To be honest, we're probably blessed with more talent on the mound and depth on the mound than we've ever had. And pitching's been our, kind of what we've been known for. But we could run 6, 7, 8 guys out there this year that are all going to give us a chance to get out.
That's
So,
what the Jay Sarah coach did, so you guys could have like 3 double headers.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be good. Well, you need it with these 3 games a week, too. But, obviously we returned Max Rajic and Christian Rodriguez. Those guys have kind of been mainstays in our pitching rotation for the last couple of years that are going to be at the front of the rotation. Max just got back, from winning the gold medal with the 18U team. Christian's been a 2-year starter. This is his 3rd year starting on the mound, and they've proven to be very dominant and give us a chance to win every time out. I mean, Max took the mound last year against everybody else in the league's ace because nobody matched their ace up with Cole Winn, and And Max still went out and we found a way to win most of those games that he pitched. I think we won 4 of the 5 games that he pitched, against everybody else's aces. He gave us a chance to win all of them. He's just he's a workhorse on the mound. And then you got Christian, who's, a fiery competitor, 6'6", downhill, very downhill with a lot of movement on his pitches. They're going to be kind of at the two at the top. And then I think we have a lot of flexibility in how we're going to go about the rest of the week with 3 games a week. I think we have the ability to play each game to win that game, and we'll still have enough depth in our bullpen to be able to, to start another guy, whether that's Evan next to me or Johnny Guzman or Jimmy Urban. Josiah Castillo's an up and rising star for us that just committed to Pepperdine. I mean, we have a ton of guys that we have a lot of trust and faith in, so we're going to go about it, as trying to win each game individually. I think Max and Christian will kind of start those 2 first ones, and we'll play those 2 to win and use who we have to, and then on Friday we'll start kind of whoever's left. That's kind of the plan. There's a couple guys in that closer role. One of them's a freshman, Carson Bowen. Potentially could be closing for us. We also have a couple.
He just said he's the closer.
Yeah, Josiah wants to pitch. We tried that last year, and then the arm injury kind of but he could probably do it again. Yeah. So I don't know that we have an established closer role, but there's a lot of guys you could see at the end of the bullpen that are up and comers. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go with the players. Oh, the mic.
I'm Evan Adolphus. I'm a senior, and I'm a right-handed pitcher and a first baseman / third baseman, I guess. And then I'm going to Cal State Fullerton to play some ball. And then what I'm looking forward to is hopefully getting to wear a CIF ring by the end of this year.
I'm Caden Connor. I'm a senior. I play left field. I am not committed yet. And what I'm looking forward to is winning a CIF championship and playing the best players around the country.
I'm Josiah Dixon, senior. I've been committed to USC since freshman year. And what I'm really looking forward to this year is getting that CIF ring too, because, been there the past 3 years and haven't been able to win that final game. So just going out my senior year with that ring will be the best thing ever. Oh, and I play right field.
That's for all 3 of you guys. Your coach just spoke about Cole a little bit as the senior leader. Aside from him, or even with him, who were some of the guys that we were looking up to as seniors last year that kind of taught you the culture of how to handle things?
Yeah, I'd say Cole coming in, he was kind of scared at first to really talk to everyone because he didn't want to, people to think he was bigger than him or bigger than us or whatever. So, he held down. But, as the year went on, he grew closer with us and he started, leading as a leader, and it was good for him. And then Zach Liu was a major guy for us. He'd always be at the field early, help drag, set up the field. So being on varsity my 2 years when he was there, he was always someone I looked up to since freshman year because even at a young age, he was leading the whole team and, helping out wherever he could. So those 2 were big, big impacts for me.
Cole was very, very good leader. I looked up to him a lot. He didn't try to be bigger than everyone else. And someone that I looked up to was Caleb Ricketts because we're both, similar left-handed hitters. Caleb was everything for the team. His average might not have shown, but, very good at moving the runners over, doing whatever helps the team, a complete team guy. I have the most respect for him.
For the most part, I looked up to Cole and Zach Liu. I looked up to Cole because I used to watch his pitching mechanics for the most part, and then Zach. I actually met Zach before I came to Orange Lutheran, and so he kind of helped me make my decision to come to Olu and play. And so it's kind of like, oh, if I have him behind me, I know we're going to be good. So, yeah.
Josiah, so can you really do 3 backflips in a row without the basketball barefoot?
Yeah, I can. we have some videotape of it, actually.
So what else can you do or not do?
I really like to think that I can do anything. I don't believe in you can't do this. So, it's not really being taught how to do it. I just like to think, like I can do that, and I just go out and do it. So that's how the backflip started. Like I started in the pool, and I was like, I think I can get this on ground. So I started doing backflips on the ground, and then I started landing them, and everyone would go crazy. So I'd always start doing them at school, and all the people would come watch, all the teachers and everything. And then my dad was a big basketball player, so he always put me in basketball. And then it was at 12 years old. I was in middle school, and I was like, I think I can dunk it. And so I went up to the rim and just dunked it, and ever since then, I just been going all out.
His freshman year, we had a team function, and my daughter's a gymnast, and she was just out doing what kids do out on the grass. It was actually my parents' dairy farm in Chino, and she was doing her gymnastic stuff, and 5 minutes later you turn around and Josiah's out there like matching her step for step, doing her backflips or running, I don't even know what they're called, or twirling and all the different things they do, but he was matching her like step for step. It was pretty cool to see.
Okay, Coach Borba described you as potentially one of the team MVPs last year, and those of us that are into prospects and whatnot, the more we watch you play, the more we appreciate your talents. Being that level player on a team with 11 Division I commits and not being committed yourself, how do you set that aside and just focus on the team and really just grinding and being the best that you can be?
I would say by like seeing them like pushing themselves makes me want to work harder, makes me want to be committed and like work as hard as I can. And like it's frustrating, of course, but like I'm just a team guy. Like all I care about is winning and Orange Lutheran, and my mindset is like if it happens, it's gonna happen. And I just can do what I can control, and yeah, I just want to win.
It's gonna happen.
Thank you.
Josiah, I know you've kind of dealt with some leg injuries in the past, and so how's your health coming into this season?
Yeah.
We want to see you healthy the whole way through and really show what you can do. So how you feeling?
Yeah, I've been feeling good. The hamstring injury was sophomore year, so it wasn't as bad. I'm glad I got the rest. I've been getting physical therapy. I still do to this day. And then the shoulder injury, I felt like it was really not too bad, but it sucked. Of course, I couldn't be out there playing with the team and helping out. But I feel like that rest for my shoulder was really good. It helped me like get all my strength back, and like I started better eating habits, working out more, and stretching more often. So coming into this year, there's nothing been nagging or anything. So I feel like it's gonna be a good year.
Do you have any concerns about the schedule moving up, dealing with the possibility of disruption with weather and other things? Obviously, you have lights, so you don't have to deal with that, but
Right.
how concerned are you about the weather?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting. I feel like the season's already upon us, and we just got off Christmas break, so I feel like we're not ready. And I think that's something that if the schedule's going to continue to be where it's at, we're going to have to make some coaching adjustments. The real challenge for us, I think, was really getting our pitchers the throwing and the reps that they needed to be ready for the start of this season. So that's a little worrisome for me as a coach. It's just, you're starting your season on February 9th, and you got about 4 weeks to get guys ready if you're giving them time off during the Christmas break. And it made it a little more challenging. So there's some concerns there. I like the idea. I'm hoping that, moving the schedule up will give us the opportunity to potentially have a state championship or at least, a 2 out of 3 double elimination type tournament at the end of the year. That's the goal, and I think it'd be worth it. I think, I have some worries, especially with the health risks that there might be. You're going to be playing on some fields that potentially are going to be a little wetter, not as in good a shape because it's earlier in the year. We're going to get a little more rain. But, it's one of those things you just got to adapt and overcome. And you make do and you learn and you try to get better each and every year with it.
I have a question for you. You didn't throw a whole lot last year. Obviously, your bat was lights out, just following the NHSI and then watching the championship game. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer to pitch? Do you prefer to hit? I know it's going to be a tough one based on next mile. And then moving forward after this year, once you get to Cal State Fullerton, I think they committed you as a pitcher, but have they talked to you about potentially doing both? So let's go. Which do you prefer?
Which one for? I mean, I do like both, but I like pitching more because I don't want to say necessarily like the best at hitting, but I can still work on some things. But I like pitching more because it's more. I can use my head a little bit more, and I know what to do in certain situations a little bit more often. And then at Fullerton, I am committed as a pitcher, and I was just my only plan was just go there and pitch. So.
Hopefully we'll change Chucky's opinion on that this year. Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad. So.
Last question? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.